Hello everyone, welcome to another movie review. I just got done seeing The Creator, the new film by Gareth Edwards.
Sergeant Taylor, we are this close to winning the war. But the AI are developing a super weapon. Retrieve it. Or they win.
First thing I gotta say is, for an $80 million budget, this movie was super impressive. Like, it literally looked better in terms of the visuals and stuff like that, like the effects. And pretty much, everything regarding the budget, actually, like the sets, the costume design, everything like that. It looked a lot better than most movies you see today, like in terms of like the Marvel movies and like the big budget blockbusters. Like, this movie looked incredible. And Gareth Edwards, of course, directed Rogue One, and very much in the same vein as that, the cinematography was excellent. The visuals, as I mentioned, the strongest part about Rogue One, whether you love it or hate it, is the way the movie, like the quality of the actual film production. You know what I mean? Like, aside from the story or whatever, and the acting, whatever you want to say about that, or the characters, Rogue One, was very well made. And same with this movie. Like, this movie was very impressive. I went to an early showing. They had like a special preview thing at Cinemark, Wednesday night premiere or whatever. Tomorrow I'm going to be seeing Saw X, which I'm very hyped for. I love Saw, and I can't wait to see that. But The Creator was one that, of course, this is a totally original movie. I don't think it's based on a book or anything like that. I could be wrong. But again, this movie, based off the trailers and everything like that, and the marketing, Disney marketed this thing as like, the next motion picture event. They were really trying to drive that this is a more than just a standard, sci-fi blockbuster movie. And I don't know if I will go as far as to say it's like a motion picture event. Like, it's not going to be the next Star Wars or anything like that. But this movie was very good. Honestly, like, it's probably, I have to look at my Letterboxd. It might be in my top 5 for the whole year so far. I really love this movie. Like, it was really good. The premise of this movie, of course, if you're not familiar, deals with AI. It takes place in the year 2070, and it's basically showing a future in which AI set off a warhead in Los Angeles that killed 10 million people. So it's sort of a post-apocalyptic movie, sort of, not really. It's basically humans against AI. And not going to delve too much into it, but there's one side of the world that sort of embraces AI, and there's one side of the world that doesn't. John David Washington plays the main character, Joshua, and he's basically tasked with finding a weapon that was made to destroy the humans' main... Like, the humans have this giant machine that can pretty much destroy all of AI if it wanted to. In the war against AI, they have this giant machine that's up in the sky, and AI created this weapon that is meant to go against it. So John David Washington's character, Josh, is tasked with destroying this weapon, and the weapon is a child. And the child actor in this movie, I don't know if it's her first movie or whatever, my God, this child has a bright future. Like, seriously, she blew me away. Like, honestly, it might be the best performance in the movie. I'm not even kidding. Not to say, everybody else did a bad job or anything. Allison Janney's in the movie. Gemma Chan, of course, from Eternals. Everybody was great in this movie. Like, I don't want to say it's like the next Star Wars or anything like that, but it was very good. It was better than like a standard, typical, sci-fi movie, even though it is kind of, at this point, cliched. Like, the story, you can kind of predict where it's going in certain parts, But in the movie's defense, how many original ideas are truly left? Like, if you really think about it, people complain about movies not being original anymore, but, like, movies have been around for, like, 100 years at this point, actually longer, I think. How many original ideas are really left? Like, come on, people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's impossible to come up with something that's 100% original at this point. And this movie, you can tell, was very much influenced by, like, Blade Runner and Neil Blomkamp, like District 9 and stuff like that. And, and again, for me personally, Blade Runner is my second favorite movie of all time. It used to be number one at a certain point. Blade Runner 2049 as well is in my top 10 films of all time. And there is Blade Runner influences in this, which, again, I really appreciated that. There's robots in this film that are called... it's similar to replicants, the term they use. I forgot what it was, but there's literally a similar word to replicants that the robots are called. I feel like it starts with an S or something. I can't think of it. I'll put it on the screen if I remember. But yeah, this movie, again, visually incredible. Like, for $80 million, like, I can't believe this movie looks like it cost $200 million. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, honestly, like, I'm glad I went to see this in a theater, because it definitely should be experienced in a theater. I saw it in the XD at a Cinemark, which is basically their version of, like, IMAX. I'm not sure which format is, the best to see this in, but, this one had the early showing, so, that's how I saw it. Very good movie, like, seriously, go check it out. Highly recommended, I don't really have much else to say, Gareth Edwards, so far, I have not seen a bad movie from him. Rogue One, you can say, okay, some of the characters didn't really have much, but I really enjoyed Rogue One overall, I've never had any real beef with that movie, I know some people do. Godzilla 2014, very good movie, he did another movie called Monsters, which I've never seen. I never heard of, actually, until recently. Apparently that movie's okay, too, So this guy, he's very talented, and I can't wait to see what else he does, and I don't really have much else to say, like, honestly. I know this is like a short review, but this movie was very good. The music by Hans Zimmer was awesome. The ending of this movie was very emotional. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I got a little misty-eyed, a little bit. Not fully, but a little bit. And the movie had me invested, But like I said, not really a negative to the movie, but there is a lot of stuff that you've seen before in other movies, it's. But again, for me, it's the filmmaking that's the major takeaway from this. The filmmaking was very impressive. I'll be surprised if this movie doesn't earn, like, Oscar nominations for, cinematography and, visual effects. And, the costume design, too, was very good. And, the set designs and everything. So, that's really about it, honestly. I'm not going to do a spoiler section, really. Go experience this movie. Again, I'm not going to call it the next motion picture event as it's been advertised as, but it's still very good. So, as a rating, I don't know if I would give it a 10 necessarily. Probably like a 9.5. I don't want to give it a 10, but it was very good. Like, if I had any complaints or nitpicks, honestly, like, I feel like, okay, some of the editing, some of the lines in the movie felt ADR'd. Like, when there's a character, you don't see his face, but he's talking. It feels like those lines were ADR'd in. So, I don't know. There's little parts in the movie that, like, it wasn't edited perfectly, you know what I mean, if that makes sense? Like, it wasn't flawless. Again, these are just nitpicks. Go see this movie. It was very good. So, stuff like this, we need to go to the theater for, because, we don't really get movies like this anymore. You either get, like, a super low-budget movie or, like, a $300 million blockbuster, And the way movies are going right now, actually, thankfully the strike ended, by the way, the other day. The way movies are going, there have been a lot of bombs this year at the box office. So we really need to start showing up to theaters. I kind of need to do a better job of that as well. I feel like I haven't been going enough. So go see stuff like this. Movies with like a medium budget like this, you don't really get nowadays. So go support this, like seriously. And again, the movie was good. If it was bad, I would tell you, I'd say, listen, wait for streaming, wait for whatever, But stuff like this, quality stuff like this on a mid-level budget needs to be supported. Yeah, highly recommended. Thank you, Gareth Edwards. Thank you, everybody involved with this movie. I will definitely be buying this on 4K Blu-ray because it will look great. So that's really about it. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments. And I don't know. Do you think it's the next Star Wars? I don't, but it's pretty damn good. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and have a good one. Bye-bye.